I don't know. That's a good shout. It's Land Rover Defender, because I'm just not about that life.
They're awful things, though. People don't think that you don't like Defender either.
No.
I know, most say, Quentin Wilson, I love Defenders. Defenders are clique that love Defenders. I've no idea. I'll come to you next to the white shirt. One gentleman here.
Do you think that's something that interests you further in the future, buying and selling cars, perhaps?
Yeah, I think spending other people's money is what I enjoy doing as much as trying to spend my own money. But it's so much fun to start learning and understanding different opinions. When I was a lot younger, I was very naive to think that my opinion and sort of what I thought was nice, everyone else assumed. So when I was a lot younger in London, I used to love filming Lamborghinis and Ferraris because they look good and sound good, and hated seeing Porsches because there were so many of them, but they sounded pretty poo. But now I understand why Porsche is such a fantastic car, such a fantastic driver's car, and they do sound good and they are a great fun to drive. So just meeting so many different car people and different opinions is something that I actually really enjoy. So I wonder whether it would be an actual series on my YouTube channel of helping other people buy cars, because I think it would be quite interesting to see where it would go.
Yes, in the middle. How much planning has to go into each video?
That's a good question.
Not a lot. He just turns it on and walks around. It's obvious.
How much planning goes into a video? It really depends, because there's obviously a bank of content and video ideas that I've got in the back of my head, and I've probably got a list that is longer than my arm on my iPhone that is just general ideas or concepts that I've either seen on YouTube or things that I want to tweak and make better. But there's so much time when I'm driving. So when I was on my road trip over the last 2 weeks, we're driving for about 9 or 10 hours a day and only filming around 2 or 3. So there's so much time that I have by myself to just come up with different ideas, things that might work. And I suppose the only drawback to YouTube is that my mind never switches off. And it's the one thing that my girlfriend hates the most, is at 3 a.m. I'm on my phone writing down another video idea that I've had. So it really can depend on how long it takes from a video to start here and actually make it onto YouTube. But it's just an interesting process how my mind works and how I come up with a video idea and then it actually turns into a video.
Can't believe he's got a girlfriend personally, but never mind. Spending all that lifetime. Yes, Yolene.
Basically, I've watched quite a few of your videos, and I've noticed that you and your friends change your cars quite often. Is it possible for you to do an advice video doing those like quite quick finances that you guys seem to do?
Yeah.
They don't own them for long because they've nicked them and they've got to give them back, you see.
I know that some of them, they let you try them out, like the Mercedes the other day, or yesterday, or whenever it was. Mercedes AMG or something like that.
Yeah, I drove the AMG before I bought it.
But yeah, I was just wondering how you do those finances and how do you switch it so quick?
There's so many different finance solutions to cars, and they are quite generic. There's not actual options for short-term loans. I change my car when I want to change my car, and it usually either depends on that I've been offered a very good price for it, or I'm actually looking to change. And probably the worst trait that I have is I get bored quite quick. So I owned my R8 for about 18 months. I owned my first Lamborghini for about 6 months, and the Mercedes after that I wanted to own for about 2 years, and I always had a plan of owning it for about 2 years, and someone came along and offered me the same money that I paid for it 10 months ago, so I had to take the deal. But there's definitely an opportunity to make a video that actually gives advice to people that are looking at doing these sorts of things. But you can go to pretty much anywhere to test drive a car, and it's rare that I get preferential treatment to borrow a car for longer than a normal test drive. But maybe there's a video idea in that, so thank you.
Yes, sir.
If you won the lottery, which hypercar would you buy?
Oh, good question. You know what? I actually bought lottery tickets today because this morning I drove an Aventador S, and it is one of the best cars that I've driven. And so I turned to the sales manager at Lamborghini Pangborn and I said to him, I want this car so bad I need to buy lottery tickets. What hypercar would I buy if I won the lottery? I'd probably buy the LaFerrari. As great as the P1 918 Bugatti Chiron are, for me, the LaFerrari is the pinnacle of cars.
Blimey, for the first time today, I've agreed with him. A winner, the LaFerrari. Yes, young man.
Who or what inspired you to do YouTube?
That's a really, really good question, because how I stumbled across YouTube is probably quite different to how people find YouTube now. I use YouTube as a storage facility, so I used to film my videos on my phone. I used to run out of memory all of the time, so I went and uploaded them to my computer, my family computer, ran out of memory on that. So I started to upload to YouTube just so that I could delete them and free up some memory on my phone to go out and film some more. And that was how I found YouTube. So there's not necessarily an inspiration to it, and the fact that it's my hobby and my motivation and it's what I get up and love, that's why I've continued doing it for so long, because I love it, and I got involved before there was money involved, so it's just so much fun. But now I watch a lot of YouTubers, and there's so much cool stuff out there that you could watch YouTube for days.
Yes.
Where can you see yourself in like 5 years' time in terms of YouTube and the cars that you own?
Where do I see myself in 5 years' time? Such a difficult question. I think going back to talking to Tiff and sort of dreaming when I was 12, 13, 14 years old that I was going to own a Lamborghini, the fact that I own it now, I kind of just still want to be in a Lamborghini. So maybe in 5 years' time I'm driving the latest Lamborghini and doing what I do now, which is just sharing my passion for cars with everyone that watches it on YouTube.
There you go. Next.
I don't need the mic, I've got to go through it.
Good question. Is owning a supercar as good as I expected it to be? Is that the question? I would say yes. It's a pinch yourself moment driving these cars, and it's very easy to look over the steering wheel and look out just onto the standard road that you would see in any car. But owning a supercar, the one thing that I never actually expected that I would feel when driving these amazing cars is just the weight on your shoulder of what happens if something goes wrong and you got to pay for it. I think that's the one thing that I've realised that I didn't expect would happen. But it's a scary thought driving these expensive cars, some of them that aren't mine, and knowing how much these cars cost. And if something does go wrong, then yeah, it's bad news.
Nasty idea.
So it's not a question, it's probably something that I would like to hear from Paul. Quite a few followers and viewers, they think that YouTubers with supercars, they made all this money out of YouTube. I think it's important for the YouTubers to explain to the kids that this is not purely YouTube money. Out of the 10 YouTubers, probably 8 out of 10, they have a family background, family money, funds, etc., which supports their channels, they change the cars, etc. And I think it's Paul and a couple of more guys who have made the money out of YouTube. I think it's important to explain to the kids that watching you, they're following you, that it's not an easy task. You're not filming, you're not making 100,000 views and suddenly you come up with a Lamborghini. It's slightly different story from what kids think is, and the perception of how you can be successful, how you can make all these supercars is.
Yeah, we did touch that. I did say that not everyone can come up and be the man like that. But yeah, you do have to. It's a warning.
Yeah,
You've got to start doing kids' warnings. Otherwise, they'll stop doing their GCSEs and their A levels because they all think they can diddly do and have a Lamborghini. So you give these kids a warning now.
I think a lot of people that watch my videos or content on YouTube in general, they'll watch the 10 minutes and assume that's how long the video took to make, which is just not the case. Not only that, about 7 years into my YouTube channel, I'd be happy if a video hit 5,000 views. And that's 7 years of doing the same thing every single day, filming different cars, but just fundamentally spending my own money to go and see these cars, to film them, in the hope that one day I might actually have a video that hits 1 million views or 100,000 views. So to sit here now and watch the views creep up on all of my videos that I create is kind of mind-blowing and kind of surreal and very overwhelming. Even to sit here in front of all of you guys today, like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to talking to a camera, and it's normally just myself and my camera, so apologies if I'm a little bit awkward. But it is a long slog, but the fact that this is my passion and the fact that I just enjoy doing this kind of makes it feel like it's not my work. And that is by far the most important thing to take away, if you're listening, is just follow your dreams or follow your passions. It doesn't matter what other people think. A lot of my friends were borrowing their older brother's fake ID to go clubbing because that was what was cool at the time. And I actually just used to sneak away and go up to London and chase cars around. As weird as that sounds, but now there is such a cool community out in central London, around the world, and on Instagram and across social media of like-minded car people that it's almost acceptable now to be filming these amazing supercars as they drive around. So it is a hard slog, and there are many sacrifices that I've probably taken over the last 10 years to get to this point, but I wouldn't change it for the world, and I don't have many regrets. So thank you for the question, and hopefully I've summed it up.
Right, 2 more. One here, one in the middle, and we're done. Yes, young man.
When you have completed your dream and when you've got all the supercars you've ever wanted, what would you do next?
Buy an island in the Caribbean.
There's no roads on there though.
Build them.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's actually a very good question, because I'd spent so long trying to achieve my goal of buying a Lamborghini before I turned 25, and let me get this straight, I had absolutely no idea how I was going to do it. I just had this weird fascination of owning a Lamborghini before I turned 25, and I had no idea that it would actually happen. But once I bought that, and I was making all of these awesome videos on the car, inside I'd kind of almost lost a bit of direction as to where I was going, because I'd achieved what I'd set out to do. And only recently, with the videos that I've been making and the opportunities that I've been getting and the road trips that I've been going on, have I started to understand a little bit more about the direction I want to take things in. And really, I just want to continually better myself and better my content to make sure that I'm constantly evolving and producing videos that my audience want to watch. So that's it. I think every day, just wake up and try and be a better version of
helicopters.
What I was yesterday.
Start doing helicopters.
Helicopters of London.
Buy your first helicopter when you're 35.
I actually did say that I wanted to buy a Lamborghini Aventador or a V12 Lamborghini by the time I was 30. So that's probably the next goal.
Right, final question. Better be good now. Pressure's on you.
So, since Top Gear sort of fell down...
Sorry, what? What's he talking about? I never heard of that.
I've never heard of it.
Top Gear? No, don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, continue.
Sort of fell through the floor. Have you ever thought about teaming up with the people that you went to Monaco with and actually suggesting to Netflix or Amazon about saying we could do this as an actual season?
Oh, yeah, we have. I think when the automotive space on television and the programs that were there, Top Gear, when it disappeared for the first time, I actually went to the penultimate filming of Top Gear literally just before he punched someone in the face, and it was amazing to see how quickly I saw an audience increase in my YouTube channel from people that were looking at and sort of wanting that car content, that automotive content, and we talk about it all the time. But we love doing what we're doing, and the way that we're doing it, it's almost like, it's in a weird way, because it's on separate channels, we are kind of doing our own version of a TV program around cars. But more recently, I think in the last 2 weeks, because we spent so much time together, not only do we head each other now, no, I'm joking, but we do talk about how and which ways we can improve and evolve our content to maybe produce it on something like Netflix, because I think streaming is the way forward, and these massive companies are investing so much money in that. Hopefully one day they'll pick up on what we're doing. And
the Aventador S is getting closer. Yeah. Let's have a huge round of applause. Paul Wallace from Supercars of London.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.